Welcome to yet another in the long line of quality management system training presentations. QMSP 8.5.2-001 Identification and Traceability is brought to you by Dell Corporation, where if it's made out of metal, we can build it. QMSP 8.5.2-001 Identification and Traceability. Dell Corporation Quality Management System procedure makes provision for the identification and traceability of materials used for the product realization process, service provision, delivery of product to customers, and installation of product as required by contract. New equipment manufactured by Dell Corporation shall be assigned a unique identifier, project identification number or other unique identifier, upon acceptance of customer-issued purchase order and/or creation of sales order. Unique identification shall be maintained and follow the product from receipt of order through all product and service provisions. The unique identifier shall also be included on project-specific documentation, as deemed appropriate, to ensure traceability throughout the product realization process and subsequent servicing provisions. Project identification numbers are assigned through the Enterprise Resource Program. Identification and traceability shall be maintained for, but may not be limited to, the following: quote documents, interested party requirements, drawings, parts, components, project information, purchasing information, raw materials, monitoring and measurement. Quote documents issued to customer organizations shall be uniquely identified and revision controlled to ensure traceability and accuracy of information. Drawings used for the product realization of new manufactured equipment shall be uniquely identified to ensure they are readily identifiable and are traceable to the type of product and/or the associated project. Project information maintained in the project management system shall be appropriately labeled with the unique project identification number to ensure accuracy of the project information presented and tasks assignments are appropriate to the scope of manufacture. Identification and traceability of raw materials used in structural, load-bearing, or pressure-containing capacities shall be maintained. Raw materials used for product realization shall be identified by heat treat numbers, at a minimum, and project identification numbers as applicable. Control of materials shall be maintained from receipt of materials through all phases of product realization. Controls for materials shall include, but may not be limited to the following: heat numbers prominently marked and easily distinguishable on all raw materials used in the product realization process. In such cases where materials are cut, heat numbers shall be transferred to the remaining material. Heat numbers prominently marked and easily distinguishable on all raw materials, included as part of an assembly, during the fabrication process. Heat numbers maintained in project database identified with associated project identification, as applicable. Daily cut sheets. Heat number shall be included on cut sheets and marked on cut parts. The organization shall implement additional, enhanced identification and traceability controls when required by contract, required by external interested parties, and/or required by a third party. Note: additional requirements should be considered prior to entering into contract to ensure the organization has the capability to provide such identification and traceability controls. The organization shall maintain identification and traceability for parts and/or components deemed essential by the organization to the effective operation of the Dell Corporation manufactured products. Identification and traceability requirements for parts and components shall be maintained when required by contract. Purchasing information shall include an identifier that is unique to a particular product or service. Should no such identifier exist for a product, an accurate description of the product and/or service shall be provided on Dell Corporation issued purchase orders. Where the organization has a requirement for enhanced identification and traceability of products and/or services, the required additional controls shall be documented on Dell Corporation issued purchase orders. Provision for identification and traceability of monitoring and measurement outputs, calibration of equipment, is made in the Quality Management System document, QMSP 7.1.5-001, Control of Monitoring and Measuring Resources. The organization shall maintain the necessary documented information, records, as required, in accordance with QMSP 7.5.3-003 to ensure traceability. The scope of product identification and traceability shall be maintained in accordance with the organization's quality management system requirements, customer-defined criteria, and/or applicable industry specifications. Thank you, as always, for your participation in the quality management system at Dell Corporation. Should you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this, or any other quality management system training presentation, please contact Danny at delltank.com. Call or text to 337-224-2873, or stop by for a conversation. Always, if you don't have time to do it right the first time, when will you have time to do it over? A quote by UCLA basketball legend, Coach John Wooden.